Hello, thanks for tuning in to the Parent Technology Orientation for Middle School at Marin Horizon School. So, my name is Tatiana Griffin. I'm the Director of Technology and Innovation here at Marin Horizon, and thank you for joining us. All right, this was the notice from the Marin Horizon Notices, the weekly bulletin that provided a description and times for our sessions. So this is probably how many of you are feeling. I know this is definitely how I'm feeling. We're balancing a lot of different things, often multiple devices, as well as many different aspects of life, some of which we didn't have on all the time. And here we are. So one of my goals for this tech orientation is to help you move from feeling like this to feeling like this. I'm hoping we can find some ways that technology can help provide less stress and maybe provide a little bit of time for some peace while your kids are working independently. All right, so on a high level, here's the agenda. You're going to be the student. We're going to talk about Google Classroom, what's new, the parent view, some safety features we have in place for filters and monitoring on our devices, and then some basic home setup and troubleshooting. So when you're going to be the student, we're going to learn how kids navigate on the devices, some of their logins, some Google Classroom perspective, see the student view, talk a little bit about guardian summaries and what they provide for parents and guardians. Again, with safety filters and monitoring, we've got Google Safe Search, a YouTube filter. We've got Go Guardian apps. We have the one that the school runs to filter internet, the teacher one that the teachers use in class. And today we now have access to a parent piece that we will talk about as well. So for basic home setup and troubleshooting, we're going to cover how you might connect a printer, how you might troubleshoot an internet signal, some Zoom tips and tricks, and some basic computer issues and what you might do to resolve them. So let's begin by being the student. Okay, so device overview, navigation, and logins. This is the laptop that each 6th or 8th grade student is assigned. It's a MacBook Air 11-inch. We use Chrome browser. We're a Google school. So we want to use the Chrome browser. It plays nicely with all of the tools that we use, including Google Classroom. There's a link here about creating a Chrome profile. This is really great because it allows your students to have their own kind of profile or container of data that is with their Google account. So even as we move from device to device, year to year, all of their bookmarks, maybe some of their preferences are saved and travel with them. If for some reason they were unable to use their school device, maybe it gets damaged, maybe are lost, we should hope not, but it happens. They can sign into any Chrome browser and all of their stuff is associated and stored in the cloud. So it's really important on the devices we review with students that they need to sync their profile. So if you see something that says turn on sync, it's really small here, but if you see that and it doesn't say sync is on, then you need to click on that and choose link data and yes, I'm in the pop-up. And this is something we get students used to and have them check on every once in a while. And this is also because there are other features that actually are built in. Once they are synced properly by clicking on this little circle and making sure sync is on, school tools and sites appear, which basically provide the custom portal logins for a lot of the school subscriptions that we use. It'll look a little different for you. This is a screenshot, but if you're sitting in front of your child's computer and taking a look, definitely see if you can get to school tools and sites and pull out that password worksheet that I mentioned earlier. And you'll notice that there's some really key information on that password worksheet. So in terms of navigation, the middle school distance learning site has the kind of weekly schedule with the embedded links. So students can click on them to access a teacher's Zoom link when we are in our distance learning phase or distance learning mode. You'll notice as a parent, if you want to print this or if your child wants to print this, they're able to click on this little button that appears in the top right of each Google Doc that is embedded in the website. And you open it and it opens it in a new window and it's printable and it's just easier to kind of read than maybe if you're looking on your mobile device, for example, on a website. As I mentioned, each student gets a password worksheet. Here's a link if you wanted to make a copy or reprint this, but every child was issued a password worksheet and sleeve, as well as a carrying case, computer, headphones, and charger. And this is one of their essential items. And again, these connect to the school tools and sites. Okay, when it comes to Google Classroom, there's a student view and there's a parent view. The student view and the Guardian summaries serve two different purposes. In the Guardian summaries that you should have received an invitation for, you will notice that it is providing you a daily or weekly, we suggest daily to start. Once you accept the invitation, you'll get a summary of things that are missing that your student has to turn in, things that might be coming up, and then things that are posted, and they're all organized by class. So if you have any issues with that or aren't receiving it or something seems off, please email techhelp@marinhorizon.org and we can help you get back on track. So here's a little bit of a breakdown of what a typical Google Classroom page has. So when a student goes to a class, as you'll see here, there is a stream, a classwork, and a people page. And on the stream, the students, again, will see all the activity from the class, including things that are coming up or any announcements, and the newest things are always going to be on top. The classwork page in the middle, that is going to be the most important page that has the students' assignments and due dates. The people page shows the teacher and the list of students, but the classwork page is really where the key to all of this works and how it is. So here's an example of an assignment. If a student goes to classwork and chooses to view an assignment, it's always going to have a due date, some instructions on the top from the teacher below the title, some comments that maybe are visible by the whole class. Here is the assignment status: assigned, turned in, returned, right? It'll show a couple of things here. If a teacher has made a template document or a document and handed it out to the student, it's going to be here. They can click on it and open it. Any other additional files can be attached by the student. They can be videos, pictures, documents, music files, lots of different formats are allowed. And then when the student is done, they can turn it in. If they have questions for the teacher, there's a private comments section. Hopefully you're following along on your student's device and taking a peek, because this is the student view. And then, once the document is opened, let's say a child clicks this document and opens it in a new window. This is what they might see if it's a doc. Once they've turned it in, it becomes view only. That allows the teacher to grade it as if they physically turned it in. And then the teacher might return the assignment. Okay. So then if a student accidentally submits something or maybe wants to fix something and, wants to unsubmit it, that is an option. So now, the student has turned in their work and then there's an unsubmit button. If the teacher allows for unsubmissions, then the student can do that. And then the student gets back their editing rights and can make any modifications. Just know the teacher can see whether a student has unsubmitted their work or not. And again, private comments here. If the teacher is using the grade feature in Google Classroom, on the main classwork page, you can actually view your work and a summary of your work. Again, due dates, status, whether it's turned in or not, and grades received. There's some more information in the link below. So in Google Classroom on the main page, the student can see a list of all their classes, as can be seen here. They can be moved around and arranged. There are two features built in that align really nicely with the planners. And so here you see that there's a to-do and a calendar link on the main classroom page. In the to-do list, you can look at everything when it's due that's assigned. Maybe you can click over to what's missing or done, but it shows a list and you can click on the list to open something if you see something coming up. The other way you can view your work is the calendar option. This allows you to see it in a similar kind of format as you might have in your planner. And you can filter by all classes or just one class. Again, those are found here, or by clicking the 3 lines on the top left. The to-do list and calendar show up there too. Now, you as parents should have received an invitation, or guardians, of course. You will get the invitation, and if you haven't, again, email us at techhelp@marinhorizon.org. But you should actually have received an invitation, and as I mentioned here, these are the 3 types of things that will be included. You might not get an email summary, so if you're missing a class, for example, please do reach out to us because, again, this is a new system and we're going to find things that need to be fixed, and your help is always appreciated. As you can see here, this is an example of a daily summary for a test student that I started exploring just so I would understand what it looks like. So here's the missing work due in the next few days, and then any activity that might be happening in any of the students' classes. Okay, so here's a little bit about some of these safety filters and monitoring that we have going on. We use uBlock Origin. It's a really great Chrome extension ad blocker. I recommend it for adults as well. Great reviews, it's free, and we push it out to all Google accounts at Marin Horizon. On the Google Admin Console, we have Google Safe Browsing enabled for K through 8th grade Google accounts. So that's really important. Even if they're searching for something they're not supposed to, it doesn't give them all the results that we would see without that enabled. And that's something you can enable on your own home devices as well. If you reach out to Tech Help, I'm happy to send you a link on how to do that on non-school devices. Our Google Admin Console, YouTube is set up to be the most restrictive, and then a little bit less restrictive for the older students, especially with research projects, or some classes actually use YouTube educational videos. But you can see here in TK3, it's the most strict. And that, again, never goes to unrestricted because we only have 8th graders. GoGuardian, we're filtering internet for the Chrome browser. So when students are logged into the Chrome browser with their school account, we're filtering there on the high level, just looking for keyword searches or anything that should be alarming us. We're not looking at everything. It's not set up that way. And then to manage devices, we use something called Jamf, and allows us to remotely support devices and push out apps, etc. It also allows us to push out high-level parental controls, like looking for profane or inappropriate searches on any browser or any dictionary, anything installed on the computer. Okay. So let's talk about internet filtering and classroom management. So one of the things teachers use during the school day is GoGuardian Teacher. That allows them to kind of make sure kids are on task and allows us to check in when we are asynchronous. We can limit browsing, or we can lock windows or close windows if we see kids are going off task. We also have a chat feature and a one-on-one video conferencing feature built in, so teachers can use that with students with the devices. Again, it's helped to help minimize distraction and help model good behavior. And then for home use, again, we're continuing to filter any browser that's logged in. We have Chrome set up with the Google accounts. And then Stay Focused allows students to choose their own time limits, and that'll be part of a classroom activity. So GoGuardian Teacher will allow kids to kind of have guided focus and self-regulation, and Stay Focused, which I recommend for adults as well. It's a Chrome extension that you can, again, set your own boundaries. Screen shader, something that we have, we turn it on and off, but it basically helps with turning the screen more orange and less blue as the day goes on to help regulate circadian rhythms and help with any sort of evening usage of devices so it doesn't disrupt sleep cycles. All right, so let's talk a little bit about GoGuardian. You should have all received an invitation. If you haven't, please do email the tech department. But you will essentially download the application. You will add the email that you were invited with and receive a confirmation email. Following the steps, you want to open that email on your phone, and then you're in and you're linked to your student. Again, if anything's awry, reach out. Otherwise, here is a short video you can watch. The presentations are available on the Marin Horizon Technology website. And then as for some basic home setup and troubleshooting, let's talk about the internet signal connecting your printer, computer issues, and Zoom issues. So basically, internet signal, you've got your wired connections and you've got your wireless connections. This is your internet coming into your house. This is your router, sorry, your cable modem that receives the internet signal, sends it to this router. It can be wired or wireless. Most of these are wireless connections, but if you're finding that your wireless connections aren't quite working, you may want to try wiring into the wireless hub. You also might want to try moving closer or restarting the hub. So power cycling is, in a nutshell, you take the power cables out of your router and modem, you wait 30 seconds, you plug them back in, and that often helps speed up internet issues. Wi-Fi boosters are really great. I use them at home to boost internet signal in the corners of the apartment that we live in. And then this is just a back of a wireless router, how you might connect one device to the router to see if it helps. Here are some instructions on printing on a Mac, how you might add your home printer. You can let your child try it, or maybe you can hop on their computer and give it a go. There's a link here with more details. And then just feel free to read through this or link directly to the Apple site. Finally, most MacBook issues can be resolved by simply restarting the device. Zoom tips and tricks. We recommend that you give us a call if you're having Zoom issues, but in general, we hope it's working and we'd love to help you if it isn't. In a nutshell, here's what we've done. At the tech orientation, we talked about what's changed, what's new. We've talked about the different ways that students can navigate on various devices. We are talking about how we keep kids safe at all grade levels as much as we can with filtering and blocking. And then we also talked about how you can improve your Wi-Fi connection, how you can print, how you can restart that computer if things don't seem right. And then we also talked about some ways that we are trying to help students make good decisions, but also helping them stay focused during classes and on our devices. So that is our Parent Tech Orientation. If you have questions or want help, that is the email. Please do reach out. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day.